All right, so I just closed the gym, about ready to start my weekend, but I wanted to share some thoughts on what I think is one of the biggest douchebag moves that you can do on the mat. Now, trust me, there's all kinds of things that you can do on the mat that are dirty, but to me, this is probably one of the worst. And I'll just go ahead and start off with a story. So I had a student come to me. He doesn't train with us any longer, unfortunately, probably because of this situation. Anyway, he told me, he's like, I'm going to take some time off, coach. And I asked him why. He's like, well, I hurt my ankle and just think it's better that, I wait till it heals up before I come back and train. So I asked him what happened. And he told me that he was rolling with one of the blue belts and that the blue belt took his back, which is very common. He had the hooks in, and said that he had crossed his feet. Now, there's a foot lock that you can do to somebody from that position when they cross their feet. And I've actually had it done to me previously, probably more than a few times. And apparently, this blue belt applied that foot lock aggressively and ended up injuring this student. And apparently after he tapped, the blue belt told him, well, that's how you learn. Sometimes you got to get, hurt, feel a little bit of pain to learn that you shouldn't do something like cross your feet. And I just think that that's just one of the biggest douchebag moves that you could ever do in jiu-jitsu. You should never try to hurt anybody. You should never teach anybody through injuring them. And I just don't understand why anybody would even think that that was cool, that that was okay to do. And I told the student, I was like, hey, there's a lot of people in here haven't trained very long and they really don't understand how to be a good teacher. And so at my gym, we don't teach people through injuring somebody. That's not the way you do it. If somebody's doing something like crossing their feet and you know that you can apply a foot lock or you can apply a submission, you should let them know. You should tell them like, hey man, don't cross your feet because there is a foot lock there. And to me, that's the best way to go about it. But to be one of those mat bullies that I've talked about in a previous video and to submit somebody and to injure somebody and then tell them, well, that's how you learn, to me is a douchebag move. And it should never be done. I feel bad that, this student ended up getting injured and I've yet to see them return. And who knows, they may never return. So this is something that we shouldn't do. Maybe at some gyms, that's okay to injure somebody and teach them in that way. But at my gym, that's just completely unacceptable. I have one more story for you, and this is just to kind of hammer home the point, is I have a friend of mine, had a 16-year-old son who wanted to train jiu-jitsu, and this is quite a few years ago. But she took him to a gym, and he started his jiu-jitsu journey. And within the first month, apparently one of the higher belts broke this kid's arm, had him in an arm bar, and broke his arm. And I guess one of the responses was, well, it's your responsibility to tap. This kid had barely been training jiu-jitsu for a month. And to me, I just think that that's just such a jerk of a move. If you have a new white belt, somebody who hasn't trained, they just don't know any better. If you have somebody caught in a submission, you don't break their arm. To me, that's just wrong. Anyway, this kid ended up breaking his arm and doesn't train jiu-jitsu any longer. And to me, that's how we lose a lot of people. Jiu-jitsu, you're going to get injured, you're going to get bumps, and you're going to get bruises. But we shouldn't teach people by causing pain and doing harm to their body. Anyway, those are my thoughts. And if you agree or don't agree, feel free to comment in the comment section. But yeah, I was just thinking about that young man. I might give him a call, see if I can get him back on the mats. Peace.